All right, so how to run a country, right? Organizing the defense and, the housing and food stuff. We'll get to that. But, organizing the defense, I feel like this one for me is really just such an innate and natural sort of spot for humans. It's the other stuff is it's all intellectual. It's all like language. It's like how you describe complex ideas to people, especially from other other cultures, other neurotypes, like different, people that have different types of brains. That's what language is for. I mean, that kind of stuff is that. I think that's too complicated to talk about. Like, you just go read a book. I don't know. But let's just talk about organizing the defense again. And again, just kind of having an understanding of how, especially now, as much as we're learning about neuroscience, how much that enters into so much of the calculus when it comes to organizing a defense. And we really have to get down into this, because it's not a traditionally sort of studied science. It's not traditionally understood. And I'll be totally honest with you guys, a lot of people, like over a certain age, just do not understand, the real effects, the real symptoms, like the real kind of societal effects of things like PTSD, or just traumatic brain injuries, or addiction, or just kind of things that are not really their fault. There's things that are just not your fault. Like, sometimes things are. Let me just put it this way, guys. Like, anything that is your fault, you are able to apologize for. And that is sort of a spiritual thing. It really is. That's like a God, ask God for forgiveness and he'll forgive you. And that obviously it's bullshit. God's not real, but it is a healthy sort of way for you to be like, I thought I was doing the right thing, but I'm sorry, and I'll behave better. And that's healthy, man. What else are you gonna do? What else are you gonna fucking do? Like, you can't, I don't know. You work, you can put in more work to try and fix the problem. Whatever, but it still happened. There's still memory of it, if other people are involved, obviously. So, just anything that you do wrong, you can always just apologize. But, there is this idea of like the neuroscience now coming out of like, there are some things that are not your fault. If you're an addict, or just the way your brain works is you act a certain way, or you do certain things, and it's because you have a weird mutation, right? Or you had an environmental contagion as a kid. You have toxic, heavy metals in your blood, and it made your brain go fucked. These are scientific things that are being proven more and more, commonly. And we're learning a lot. We're learning a lot about how it actually can really affect kind of mass numbers of people. And so things like PTSD and stuff, like, it's a big deal. It's important to talk about this. It's important to take care of our veterans. Obviously the veterans of our foreign wars is a big one. But a person who is a veteran of being in a traumatic car crash, we got to take care of them too. So I think one of my points with this, the neuroscience here, the study of how, on a societal scale, 350 million, 65 million people in the United States. And, there's a lot of people who are dealing with a lot of shit. And, we have to help each other. We have to be kind. We have to be able to apologize and then be forgiven for it. Really. Murderers and rapists, like, we have this whole justice system for a fucking reason. It's because, we're not just gonna, like, if somebody kills my brother, I'm not just gonna kill them and then it's even. because there's still, I don't know, there's still like a wound, you know, there's still kind of, there's something there that it, spiritually, you know, and kind of the idea that like, if I'm going to continue to live a long and happy life, I don't want this wound. So there's this idea that like, if we have a justice system, you know, a system built on the idea of like, of everyone calming the fuck down, you all pile into a courthouse and you talk about it, you know, and then you have rules and you have enforcement, you know, and I mean, that's important. Obviously we need that kind of stuff. I'm a super liberal Democrat, and I absolutely believe in having a justice system. Now, the justice system, it has to function. The current one we have, you know, it doesn't function perfectly, but I don't think it needs to be dismantled, right? And you're going to hear me talk about some of those contemporary social issues, but some things do need to be dismantled. Some things do not need to be dismantled. You know, the justice system, we just got to improve it, and it's really just by having the right people, you know, so if we just have the right people, then it's good. Now, how do we do that? I mean, Mr. William, like, you're talking all this shit, but like, how do we do any of this stuff? How do we fix, like, there's so many problems, it's hopeless. We can't do it. It's never going to work. And the way we fix it is you fucking teach the kids how to read and how to write. And then that's it. I mean, that's kind of it. It sounds super simple. Like, Mr. Williams, got to be more complicated than that. How are we going to pay for that? You know, the Muslims want Sharia law, and the eggs are too expensive. It's like, listen, just teach kids to read and to write, and then you're fucking good. And then, you know, you can teach them math and stuff. I mean, start branching out. Like, teach them how to make a helicopter. Can you guys see that? Oh, yeah, check them out. Listen, the guy that designed that technology, he was a little kid one time, and he didn't know how to read. He didn't know what a fucking helicopter was. Nobody did. They were like, what are you talking about? But somebody taught him how to read. Somebody taught him some math, you know, some engineering. And now we have helicopters. So the whole point is just teach the kids to read and write, right? And that's how you run a country. I mean, that's how you organize the defense. That's how you have enough housing and healthcare and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, the kids are really, they're good at understanding nowadays, especially the neurological issues, you know, the neuroscience behind mass hysteria. I mean, COVID, you guys, I don't think you realize that we had a good time after World War II. I mean, we had some shitty wars, and we sent other people's kids to die for us, and that was fucked up, you know? I mean, the Vietnam War, man, and just like these skirmishes and encounters that we've had before 9/11, you know, we sent other people's kids to die for us. And I mean, why were we doing that? You know, none of it was justified. We just are killing our own children. And I mean, dude, that's not cool. It's not cool. So, but then, you know, 9/11 happened, and it's just like, fuck, you know? I mean, we should be able to handle that, though. Like, we should be able, we have to have a system that can handle that. And that's why, you know, the whole kind of political system of America, maybe, I don't know, maybe we need to dismantle it. I mean, it's naturally dismantled and rebuilt, right? That's kind of the whole point of having like a democracy. You can completely change the face of a country like really quickly through, you know, voting, right? For the good or for the bad. So, I mean, you know, I don't know if we need to like change that or dismantle that system. We just need to have smarter kids and smarter fucking voters, you know? But anyway, in terms of, running the country, what was I talking about? But I'm just kind of enjoying the nice day out today. There's a lot of squirrels. I'm walking over the footbridge now, having a nice time. Thinking about, the neuroscience. I mean, a lot of people, they just don't understand it, and we're not ever going to be able to explain it to them. And you're just, I don't know. Like, just spend time with your parents, guys. Spend time with your grandparents. Hear their stories, get what you need. Like, make sure you have that connection. But just know that, like, there is a future. There are things we have to do. I mean, there's so many. I mean, we have more things to do than anybody has ever had to do before. And we have longer life expectancies than anyone has ever had ever before. I mean, your kids, like the kids that millennials and Zoomers are having, those kids, they're going to be, if you think about it, I mean, God, they're going to be just the smartest people that have ever existed in the history of the planet, because they're going to have all of the resources, and then they're going to have the lowest number of like environmental, contamination. Well, I hope. I mean, unless we really go hard into the, mercury and lead poisoning because there's no EPA type shit. I mean, that's kind of scary, but we'll talk about that at some other point. But, I mean, you guys got to think, I mean, the kids were about to like have taken over, in like 20 and 30 years. God, they're gonna be fucking awesome. So we just have to like just help them out, tell them some good stories, make sure that they're going the right way morally. But they're gonna be smarter than you are. They're gonna be smarter than I am. And just kind of make sure that their characters are up to snuff. Don't let them become perverted cowards. Allow them to just be their virtuous, leaderly selves that they're kind of, they naturally tend to be. I mean, that's who they're going to be, and that's who they want to be. It's who they fit in as, so just help them be that. Anytime you see a kid, just help them be their virtuous and, courageous a version of themselves. All right, I'm walking into the office. That's it for now.